what do we think about this next one? All right, late night game, 8:20 p.m. Eastern time. We've got the San Francisco 49ers. You know, I mean, boy, do they look good. And the Seahawks, who, they haven't, to be quite honest, they haven't looked good.
No, not at
They're
all.
not looking like the team that they were last year, coming off that loss against the Rams by obviously 1 point this past week. And then you look at the Niners, and it wasn't an outstanding win by the standard of you're playing the Bucks, but the Bucks are actually a good team. The Bucks are a
Right.
solid team. Baker has been putting together a solid season, and it is a 13-point win. So coming off of this past week, what do we think? The Seahawks are 6.5-point dogs. So we've got the home dog here in Seattle. See that first of all, that place is going to be rocking. The 12th
It's gonna be crazy.
going to be crazy. Thanksgiving night, everyone's going to be stuffed with food. It's going to be crazy. I'm excited for that. 43 is the over under on that one. So 6.5, 43 is the over under. Where do you lie on this game, Ben? Can the Niners pull it off away?
Oh, the Niners are going to win this game. No doubt in my mind. I think the Seahawks will cover, but I think the Niners are going to win. I think the Seahawks are going to do everything they can. They're going to keep it close. I bet Purdy turns the ball over a couple times. I think it's going to be a pretty wild back and forth game. And then the Niners kind of, just pull away a bit at the end and win by a field goal, maybe even a little more. But I think the Niners have this one. Kenneth Walker, that's a huge loss for the Seahawks. That's huge. Yep. And Geno, who we talked about, hasn't been nearly as good as he was last year. I mean, now his elbow's all fucked up. So I'm going to go with the Niners in this one. But I do think that Pete Carroll and the Seahawks will make it a game.
It's a good point. Where do you think Tags? What do you think's going to happen here?
Yeah, I wanted to pull for an underdog because I always love an underdog story, but I'm going to take the favorite again. I just think Purdy's been money since he's got all his boys back. They're all healthy. He's had 84 completion percentage last game, 73 the week before. His QB rating's been good. He hasn't thrown a pick in the past 2 weeks. And the Seahawks have just looked ugly. I think it'll be an ugly game. It's end of Thanksgiving. Purdy's going to be out on the farm all day, getting all the food for the fam. I don't know. The vibes are going to be too good for it to be like a complete, kind of hard-nosed blowout. I think it's going to be kind of sloppy back and forth, but Niners will pull it out.
Okay. Sal, I don't know if you can hear him still, but...
No, I finally got a hold of Jason. I can hear him.
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up, Jason?
Guy.
How you doing?
We're back.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the favorite as well. 49ers was going to come up with whatever Ben said, too. Geno's got a lingering injury. I think that's going to be a problem, especially with the 49ers defensive line. That guy's going to get killed out there.
Yeah, he's screwed.
Who's their backup? Drew Lock?
Drew Lock.
Yeah. Expect to see.
I love me some Drew Lock, but
oh god,
yeah. Expect to see.
He's not a great quarterback.
I love Drew Lock as much as I love the Pats being 2-8.
Dude, if the Jets had Drew Lock, we'd be fucking 6-4 right now. I don't want to hear it.
Drew Lock sucks.
That's true. I think that's true.
He's just a slightly better not Russell, slightly better Zach Wilson. That's literally what he is.
Swag, sling it.
Isn't his only highlight like that one video of him like rapping like some rap?
Which made him look like a boob anyway. It's not really a highlight. It's a low light. He's a fucking loser.
What song can you rap, Ben?
You know what, Jason? I'm not much of a performer, so I just kind of do my own thing. I don't try to be something I'm not. You know what I'm saying?
All right, respect.
What are you sipping on over there, Sal?
A little Stanley Cup, a little water.
Oh my god,
a little water.
Nothing
You
crazy.
gotta stay hydrated, Sal.
So all the boys are on San Francisco because I'm not even gonna take a money line. I'm gonna go give me the -6.5. I think this is the big stage where the Seahawks get exposed.
Yeah.
And the Niners, obviously they lost their safety Hufanga. I don't want to mispronounce that. One of the best safeties in the league to an ACL last week. So obviously there's gonna be a little bit of hit there. I just don't think whether it's Geno, Drew Lock. I think it's gonna be Geno because he finished out that game. You don't have Kenneth Walker. I'm a huge Kenneth Walker fan. The offense has not been clicking the same way. I'm not going to touch this over-under, but give me the 49ers. I think they'll win by 2 scores, potentially 10 points.
And what is the over-under in this game?
43. So it's the lowest over-under by 4 points.
I think that I would take the under. I think the under hits in this one.
Thursday.
I don't. I don't
So
really see. Yeah, I would take the under. I don't see either team really putting up a lot of points in this game. I bet it's around 17-17 deep into the fourth quarter. I bet it's going to be something like that.
yeah, it's gonna be a rock fight. A
I
low
think
scoring.
any game where you got the 49ers offense healthy, like it's just an automatic W. Like that's it. When
Team's crazy.
Stafford's active, Debo's
They are
active,
crazy.
Ayuk's good, Kittle's good. They're not fucking losing.
Dude,
Like,
Kittle's been disgusting recently. Absolutely disgusting. And he's on my fantasy team, which, it's kind of reviving my season. I went from 1-7 to 4-7. This is great stuff.
in our league,
Kittle's carrying.
in our league,
Yeah, in our league. We're back. We're back.
I don't know.
I have a quick thing I want to ask. Where do you guys stand on Brock Purdy? Right now in this point of the season, 26, almost 2,700 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 115 quarterback rating. I mean, this guy's at least a top 5 quarterback statistically this year, if not pushing that top 3. What do we think?
I mean,
where do we like him? Do we follow the statistics, or do we say he's in a great offense? What do you think?
to me, I think both can be true. I mean, him playing as well as he did at the beginning of the year when everyone was healthy, and then him having that tough stretch when people weren't healthy, I think that's really telling of where he is. And now they're all back and he's playing great again. So it's kind of, I mean, he is a good quarterback. He's a good player, but he's still, and he could develop and not need this anymore. But right now he needs that perfect situation around him.
Well, and it shows you what he could do when shit's going right. Because last week he had a perfect passer rating, like 158.3, is
phenomenal,
absolute dog. So, Tags and Sal in that order. I want to hear what you guys think about Purdy.
I think both are kind of true. I think.
Oh, thanks for repeating what I just said. Thanks, Jason.
Don't forget that he is a.
Thanks for going word for word. Maybe cite me next time.
It's
unbelievable.
All right, you know what? The phone and Ben, it's just not my time to talk. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. Continue.
No, we can switch to Sal. Sal, what did you think? What do you think about Brock Purdy?
Wait till you guys hear my take. I'm gonna go with exactly what Ben said too. I think.
You know what?
It's a mixture. It's a mixture of both. The kid's not that bad. He could obviously play a little bit. I mean, you put him on the Jets. I want to see what he can do.
Oh, he's horrible on the Jets.
He's
horrible.
Like 7 or 8
he's in the best system in fucking NFL history. He's got one of the best defenses.
It's insane.
His offense is crazy, and the coach is
like the third best coach in the league. It's insane.
So I mean, there you go. But like I said, I think he's pretty good. He's not one of the best quarterbacks on the team, but when you got all of that around you, it's kind of hard to fail. I feel like.
No, I agree, and it's one of those things where if you kind of put the game manager needs people around him thing, it sounds like a chirp. It's really not. Zach Wilson wouldn't be good on the Niners. He'd be horrible. You actually do have to be pretty good to know how to play with good players and deliver the ball on time. You need to be a good player. So it's not taking anything away from him. But at the same time, if you were to put him anywhere else, is he going to be that great? I don't think so. Maybe Miami, because Tua's not that good. But
he's only in his second year, and he stepped up big in the playoffs last year. Where if he didn't get hurt, we could.
Right. They were going to go to the Super Bowl if he didn't get hurt.
They won the Super Bowl last year. So
yeah. Well,
that's all.
True or false? All right. Richard Sherman said, I think this morning, that people aren't analyzing Brock Purdy fairly, and he said the quote is, "If he was a top 5 pick, they'd be talking about him with Patrick Mahomes."
Oh, they would. 100. I agree with that 100%. Because I mean, at the end, perception is reality, right? And the narrative that gets built around you early in your career is the narrative that's going to be portrayed about you for the rest of your career. I mean, it's kind of like, look at the first 2 decades of Peyton and Tom's career, where Peyton was the early pick, won a few MVPs, so then he got labeled as the better player, even when Tom was winning Super Bowls. It took the whole next half of their careers for people to acknowledge, no, Tom is actually better. So it took a while to take down that narrative. So yeah, I agree. I think you're right on that one.
I mean, Purdy could also win MVP this year. The QB play has been so not what it usually is.
There hasn't been a standout.
Right, but wouldn't you say that this is where I am on the MVP? I'm happy Tags brought that up. And I'm still on Lamar. But I think it's Tyreek. I mean, look look at the most valuable player on the Niners and the most valuable player on the Dolphins. Are either of them the quarterback? No. It's the running back for the Niners and it's the receiver for the Dolphins. So why do we need the MVP to be this QB award? Who's more valuable to their team right now than Tyreek Hill?
You could argue McCaffrey, but there's not much else.
Honestly, I think it's those two. I think those two should be the front runners for the MVP right now. And if there is a quarterback who's going to win it, it should be Lamar because he's been the best quarterback and has meant the most to his team.
Yeah, and I mean, and in all honesty, I get it. The whole, quarterback's not helping you out, or the receivers aren't helping you out if you're looking at Mahomes.
Right.
Terrible drops last night. All season, it's been
Horrible.
that issue.
Horrible.
With that said, though, it's part of the game, and it's not his fault necessarily, and it's a terrible situation. But you don't give the MVP award because he would have
other
had
players on your team aren't that good.
Exactly. If players aren't making the plays on his team, and you're just I'm going to give him this because if the players were, he'd be this good.
Yeah, he would have these numbers if his players were making these catches. Yeah.
That's never how we've done it. So the fact that he's always being talked about because of what he's doing, somebody's got to mention that fucking defense. Steve Spagnuolo is.
They've been unreal.
He should be up for a Coach of the Year award. That's how good he's been. He has been phenomenal. He's been more impressive than Andy Reid this season. So
yeah,
that's a whole nother topic.